Titan, hark! Below, bid our father the Sea King rise from the depths full foul in his fury, black waves teeming with salt foam, to smother this young mouth with pungent slime, to choke ye, engorging your organs till ye turn blue and bloated with bilge and brine and can scream no more, only when he, crowned in cockle shells, with slithering tentacled tail and steaming beard, take up his fell befinned arm. His coral-tined trident screeches banshee-like in the tempest, and plunges right through your gullet, bursting ye, a bulging bladder no more, but a blasted bloody film now, a nothing for the harpies and the souls of dead sailors to peck and claw and feed upon, only to be lapped up and swallowed by the infinite waters of the dread Emperor himself. Forgotten to any man, to any time, forgotten to any god or devil, forgotten even to the sea, for any stuff or part of Winslow, even any scantling of your soul, is Winslow no more, but is now itself the sea.
All right, and welcome back to the podcast / YouTube channel. I don't really have an intro yet. Hopefully I can make one, or a form of what I just said can stick, because it's kind of bad. But without further ado, welcome back. And today I'm going to be talking about the movie Lighthouse from A24 with William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. I've been wanting to watch this movie for a while, but when it came out last year, it didn't really come out in any theaters near me. It wasn't on didn't come out on Netflix or Hulu or anything that I really had. So it took me a while to watch it, and I really was anticipating this. So I ended up just buying it on DVD not too long ago, and it finally came in through the mail, and I watched it last night. And suffice to say, it definitely met my expectations, and I really enjoyed it. This was the main reason I was interested in watching this, and I was anticipating it so heavily, was its second major motion film from Robert Eggers, which, if you guys don't know who he is, he's up and coming, but not even coming. He's up there. He's already up there. He definitely made his mark with The Witch. He's done some other work with. It's definitely not new to film. He's done some work on other movies where he wasn't the director. He may have co-directed it. Blah blah blah. Just look into his filmography, and you'll see some of the stuff he's worked on. Little lesser known films, but The Witch was his first major motion film, produced by A24, and The Witch was great. I loved it. It was like an old English folklore tale, just kind of like how this one is, but I'll get into that. He really set the bar with that film, and I would even go as far as to say The Lighthouse was better. The Lighthouse showcases two men, William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, who take a job. Well, Robert Pattinson, I forgot his character's name. It was Winslow. So Winslow and Thomas. Winslow played by Robert Pattinson, and Thomas played by William Dafoe. So these two men are on a job, and Winslow kind of takes it on a whim, supposedly, and it's to watch the lighthouse. And everybody knows what a lighthouse is, and they have to stay there for, I think it's 2 weeks, and eventually the premise of the film is they lose their minds, and as they go along. There's a lot other stuff that goes into it, a lot of bit more beauty, and that's what I'm going to get into, and that's what I really liked about this film. I think it kind of works as a better Shining, and I've never talked about this on my channel or podcast, but I do not like The Shining whatsoever. So overrated. Jack Nicholson's performance was good, but it was done in a poor way. How he was insane from the very beginning, and he just wanted to kill his family from the opening scene. I read the book. It was 10 times better. The Shining takes a shit on the Stephen King's novel, and nobody will ever change my mind. And I think The Lighthouse works as a better Shining. It's definitely a better slow burn into insanity and into madness. Great performances from Pattinson, and maybe an even greater performance from William Dafoe. But you let be the judge of that. I don't know if I want to give spoilers or not because I really like this movie, but I don't know. Who knows? If I do, you'll know at the end of the video. So spoiler alert, I guess. If you're going into this movie and you're one of those guys that likes a movie with a clear-cut beginning, clear-cut middle, and clear-cut characters, clear-cut premises, everything is just there for you, and it just puts it all out there on the screen, and then you go home and know exactly what happened, this movie's not for you. Because I don't even know what the ending is. And it's funny because I was watching interviews with the cast and Dafoe and Pattinson and Eggers. And it was funny because I love Robert Pattinson, by the way. I think he's one of the best actors. He's underrated, definitely. And he's definitely coming up. Like, he's had a long career, yes, but he's definitely, like, he's revitalizing his career. He was in Good Time with A24, and that really put everybody on notice. And then he was in The Lighthouse, and then he got the Christopher Nolan movie Tenet, and then now he's the freaking Batman. So really good career from him, and I'm really happy to see him thrive because I've always liked him. But anyways, I was watching interviews with the cast and everything, and Robert Pattinson said exactly what I think, exactly what I was thinking. He asked Robert Pattinson Robert Pattinson asked Eggers on the first day of shooting. He said, "Hey, so what is this story about? What is this movie about? Who is it? Who's it? First person, second person? Whose perspective is it from?" And he said Eggers just looked at him and said, "I don't know." And that's kind of how I definitely feel about the movie because I don't even know. But I love it. It's a challenge to watch, and I really liked it. Probably the best takeaway is that it's in black and white. And I've seen a lot of movies do black and white. Like a good one is The Eyes of My Mother. And it's kind of confusing if you've ever seen that movie. It's a great movie, but I don't really understand the decision of going black and white. But they really, The Lighthouse really commits to it. It's shot in 35mm film, and it's got the real old. I don't know what English this is from, but it's got this old, real gritty, old English accent, and it's played brilliantly by Dafoe. It's like probably the best work from him I've ever seen, honestly. Great performance from him, and Pattinson does a great job at it too. Pattinson does a great performance, but they have different characters. So Pattinson is like the young guy, and Dafoe is like the old timer who's been doing this job for however so many years, and this is Pattinson's first time, and so he's kind of like in his shell a little bit, and he doesn't want to get out, but eventually he's forced to come out of his shell as they lose their minds. And when I say they lose their minds, there's like supernatural elements, there's horror elements, there's comedic elements. The imagery is great. That's probably Eggers' strong point, is his imagery and his screenwriting. There was a scene where there was like a because Robert Pattinson during the whole movie, he's just like plagued with like this overwhelming sexual like tension, and he's masturbating all throughout the film, and he's like looking at stuff and then visualizing it as a woman. And he finds a mermaid that was left, like a sculpture mermaid, like a little toy that was left over from one of the old lighthouse keepers, and he like masturbates over it, and then he has a dream that he sees a mermaid, and it's like the imagery is amazing. It's really wicked, but it's so good. I can't. The lighting's perfect. The score is amazing. It's like really kind of dark and ominous, but it fits so well with the vibe of the movie. I really like this movie, and I could honestly probably go on about it a long time, but I definitely recommend you guys to see it. And I want to talk about the very last shot of the film, because the whole premise, like not the whole premise, but like kind of like a driving plot in the movie, but not everything, is like for some reason Pattinson has an obsession with getting to the actual light in the lighthouse, because as it goes, Dafoe is the only one that goes up there. He's a real asshole to him throughout the movie. You gotta see it. He plays it great, but he's such an asshole, and he doesn't let him get to the light. And so Pattinson gets jealous or something, and he really wants to get to that light. And he finally gets to the light, and I'm not gonna tell you what happens because it's wicked, and you definitely gotta see it. But the last shot, and this doesn't necessarily spoil it, but I guess it kind of works as a spoiler alert. But if you haven't seen the movie, you're not gonna know what it's about anyway, so I'm gonna say it. But the last shot of the movie is Robert Pattinson's body. He's laying out on the beach, and the seagulls are there's like probably like 1,000 seagulls, and they're all picking at his intestines, and he's still alive, and he's covered in blood and bird shit. and he's screaming, but I think his like tongue's ripped out, so it's inaudible. It's amazing. Super dark. Leaves on a super dark note, but super good note. Oh my gosh, I can't speak about it enough. And apparently there's like those pigeons or whatever they are following him around the whole time, seagulls. And apparently Defoe says that their souls are left behind from the past sailors that have died, and so you can't hurt them. Robert Pattinson does hurt one, and just after that, it's just pure anarchy. I really, really like this movie, and I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of a 10. Not a 10 out of a 10, but close. And that's about it, so see ya. And one more thing. My next video, I'll probably have a video. I think today's the 29th. Yeah, after August is over with, I'm going to make a film, and it's going to probably I'm going to make a YouTube video and a podcast episode. It might take a while because it's going to do some research, but it's going to be all the films that I've watched in August. So, and I've watched about 7 or 8, and I've done like in-depth reviews over, not in-depth, but a decent amount of reviews, and I'm going to go over all of those on one video. So that's the next video coming up, and it might take a couple of days to make. So see ya.